For those of you attending Gen Con 2022, which will run from August 4th to the 7th, let me tell you straight up that Gen Con is not worth going this year. Since we started operations in 2021, they imposed a mask mandate regardless of vaccination status. Now they're doubling down with a vaccine mandate. Despite the fact that despite having NYC having a vaccine mandate and mask mandate, there were still cases of Coronajan. And with MadFest having the same policy with Anime NYC, they still had cases. Known cases. And the worst thing is that Gen Con is being held in Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin. A state that have ended all Corona-Chan restrictions in 2021. So for all intents and purposes, what Gen Con is doing, instead of encouraging people to get vaccinated where possible, and if they're concerned to just wear a mask, or even better, offer actual health and safety tips, like losing weight, eating healthy food, and preventing yourself from being sick, taking multivitamin. They're imposing corrosive health and safety policies, regardless of vaccination status. And unfortunately, like in 2021, 2022 is just going to be more of the same. And so not worth going if you want to have a normal convention. One of the people who did attend Gen Con 2021 was New York Times bestselling historian, author, and novelist Blaine L. Perdue from his blog Notes from the Bunker. And his blog post is entitled, "My Decision Not to Attend Gen Con This Year, dated January 20th, 2022. And the blog post started with this picture of the main gaming hall. And it says, 2 years early, you wouldn't have been able to find an empty chair, and here you would have been seeing a lot more tables and seats. And there's a good reason why. Gen Con actually grew in 2019 to a point where they had a massive gaming hall. The main gaming hall was actually inside of the Lucas Oil Stadium in the state of Wisconsin. And there were just plenty of tables. You can sit and play tabletop games, along with a library of tabletop games you can play. But in 2021, it's a lot different. The main gaming hall was a lot smaller than one that took place inside of the Lucas Oil Stadium. And let's start with the blog article from Blaine. I've been a faithful attendee of Gen Con for years, going back to the Milwaukee years. When I went, I did so for a few reasons. As a writer in the industry, it was a chance to get FaceTime with the editors, fellow writers, line managers, to talk about the coming year's plots and what I should be focusing on. For the past 2 years, we had virtual conventions, which are really glorified Zoom conferences over Twitch. And you don't socialize, you don't network with people face to face with these live stream cons. You just can't. It's impossible. These conventions, these online conventions, are just really live streams, and it's really meant for parasocial relationships. They're not meant for actual conventions. Now, as this person saying, I also attended to shop for the new releases. Then there was the gaming itself. For me, it was a chance to sit down and try new games, play some Battletech or other games I like. Finally, it was an opportunity to mix and mingle with some fans. I love playing Masters and Minions with the fans. Real-life interaction. Something that every person, every attendee has proudly taken for granted for the past 2 years. You don't get that with online cons. You just don't. And there's something special of being in the atmosphere of your favorite con attendees inside of a convention. In recent years, I brought my grandson with me to Gen Con because he likes gaming as well. Usually we look forward to a trip to Indianapolis every summer. Gen Con has been something I've been always enjoyed attending together. I went last year in 2021 during the crunch and hysteria, and the experience was less than satisfactory. Many big game companies passed on attending. Many useful events we had come to rely on simply weren't offered at all. The events list was reduced dramatically, and the few games I wanted to play filled up instantly. The restrictions on the gaming halls were overbearing in some instances, because maps had to be wiped down, plus it was over a lot of them, which led to some issues. Demos and booths were limited, if not eliminated, and those that were done were struggles to balance playing versus social distancing mandates. Many companies simply didn't try at all. And all this health and safety policies they implemented for 2021, they were unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Wisconsin ended all restrictions in 2021, and Gen Con had no real obstacle operating as normal, or close to normal as possible. Even if most of the major game companies pull back, they will operate as normal. They will operate as normal, as close to normal as possible. They're going to have the huge stadium. I mean, having a huge stadium, the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, that alone would have been great for physical distancing, and has plenty of fresh air. Plenty of fresh air. But no, they moved the main game hall to the convention center, and it was a miserable experience. A similar parallel could be seen at Otaku 2021 and MagFest 2022. Both miserable experiences, and there's more parallels when I get to when I finish reading this. Then of course there was the thrill of wearing a mask on premises. Gaming by its very nature is a social affair, including cosplay, anime cons, all conventions are a social affair. Part of it is seeing the face of your allies during victories and your foes when you beat them. Same thing with cosplay and cosplaying photo shoots. This was taken away with the mask. It was replaced with muffled voices that you couldn't hear. On top of that, there were the mask police, the self-appointed gamers who point out when you're not social distancing to their standards, or point out that your mask has slipped down. I put my mask away one time for a little second just to get a grasp of mask air, and you have thought I've committed a war crime. That's really the problem. The pop culture convention scene has literally changed to a point where people who are willing to risk getting conquered for merchandise and for once-in-a-lifetime experiences have become mass Karens and those who are scared of the sniffles. No real excitement, just literal social totalitarianism, like in urban areas of California. This year's Gen Con announced it will be a mask event. I cringed when I read it. I could go to my local game stores and play without a mask and nobody even flinches. And that's the real reason why Gen Con 2021 was a miserable affair, and most people just didn't attend. They stuck to their local game stores, or in the case of us, anime congoers, we mostly just stay at home instead of having a miserable experience during Otaku 2021 or MagFest. Why pay $110 or $100 to wear a mask 14 hours a day? The people that want to wear a mask can. I'm triple vaccinated and I'm comfortable not wearing a mask, as it should. If you're already vaccinated, you should not have to wear a mask. If you really want to wear one, that's optional. America is still a free country. What is the point of having a rule of law and the Constitution if it means nothing? Why can't I play in a game store, without a mask, but if I travel across the country to Indianapolis to play, I need to wear one? That highlights the major issue of these conventions in this Korean-chan hysteria. It's not worth the cost of airfare and a badge to attend this convention if you adhere to all these restrictions. It's not worth the price. It's not worth the cost. If they operate as normal, it'll be well worth it. I even went to anime conventions and I just walked around taking photographs, and there were times where I didn't have anything to do, but it was worth the cost. It was worth the cost because I see it as a mini vacation. Every anime convention was a mini vacation, along with these other conventions. It was a mini vacation, so it wasn't worth the cost. Even if there was boring aspects or lulls in the action, now with all these restrictions, it's not worth the cost because you wouldn't enjoy it. Why travel 5 hours just to be told you need to wear a mask 14 hours a day? I fully understand Gen Con having to make this announcement now with a spike with Korean-chan cases. They have to make the illusion of safety for everyone, which is security fear, which has been proven to be worthless. And apparently they ignored that their security fear in Anime NYC has failed. MagFest 2022 has failed. They're better off saying, screw this, we're going back to normal. Just get vaccinated if you can. If you're that concerned, wear a mask. If you're still not concerned, just stay home. That would have been a lot better thing. And with Indianapolis and Wisconsin basically telling us we're back to normal. But that doesn't mean I have to play along with this and attend. And that's what they did. About half the people that would attend an anime convention or Gen Con just stayed home. So, because it wasn't worth the cost. Why give money to people that are not willing to go back to normal if your state government says, hey, Korean-chan is over, we got plenty of vaccines, go back to normal? But they choose not to, and they just ignored it because of the chronic media hysteria and the media fear propaganda. Yes, they may change the rules by August, but by then the hotels and events will likely be filled. Registration is at the end of this month, which is end of January, so a decision has to be made. On top of this, we have no idea which game companies will be there, or if the same old bearing rules will apply to gaming sessions. I sat down with my grandson and we talked about it. He agreed. He didn't even want to attend if he had to wear a mask either. We decided to pass. And good call. Because since 2021, since cons started opening up, I didn't bother to attend any convention that did not willing to operate as normal. I would have forgiven some of the I would have forgiven if major companies decided to pull back, as long as they have the basic trappings of an anime convention. But Otaku canceled the Auto Dance, despite the fact that dance halls in DC will start operating as normal, despite the mask mandate. So it wasn't worth going. And besides, without a rave, without a dance, you basically telling 25% of the population of the anime convention population, don't come. And I will not get into why a good portion of all attendees may not attend this year for 2022. because the homeless camps surrounding the convention center and in Chinatown. But that's another video. Then I saw that Gen Con was going to put your personal pronouns on the name badges. I rolled my eyes at this one. After the Gaming Goat incident last year, when they physically removed one game company owner over an alleged piece of artwork frog holding up a racist sign. No, I'm not making this up. And the tag 2 years earlier on Jeremy Hambley, Jeremy the quarreling Hambley. It was clear that Gen Con was pandering to a specific audience of gamers. Like most anime conventions are now pandering to a specific audience of anime convention attendees instead of going for mass appeal or focusing on recovery or focusing on getting back to normal. The last thing I needed was to have someone turn their badge around so I can call them by what they wanted or risk them having a hissy fit over not using the right language. In short, Gen Con shouldn't get involved with politics or ideologies, period, unless it directly affects their own convention. These Corona restrictions were directly affecting their own convention. It cost them money. They could have spoken out how it harmed them. But no, they choose not to. Because the people behind Gen Con and a lot of fan conventions are in a certain political monoculture. Most attendees like me didn't notice this monoculture because they were providing a product. They were providing a good product, good service, good experience. But with these restrictions, you're not providing a good experience. And people are acting surprised why more people will attend Anime Matsuri or the CrossCon series, especially CrossCon Prime in 2022. Now, as I was saying, while this personal pronoun stuff didn't factor into my decision this year, it makes me cringe. My take on Gen Con's mask policies is that they are not necessary. If you are afraid of Corona-chan, you always have the option of wearing a mask. Just don't tell me I have to wear one. If you're scared of catching Corona-chan, just don't attend. Why should everyone's gaming fun be ruined because you are frightened or at risk? Especially if the media tells you to be afraid every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month. If you cannot get vaccinated due to medical conditions, going to an event with tens of thousands of people might not be the thing for you. And it's worth knowing that people who cannot get vaccinated due to medical conditions, there's a good chance that they can choose to either wear a mask or choose to take precautions that will make them less likely to catch Corona-chan, like eating healthier food, taking a multivitamin, or taking plain of vitamin D. That will help in reducing the chance of getting Corona-chan. I will still spend the same amount on gaming this year, but I will do it in my local game store or on company websites rather than spend it on Gen Con. I will play games either at home or at the game store of my choice, where I can have the fun the way it meant to be enjoyed, face to face. And that's their right, and that's what a lot of people are doing since the country is slowly opening back up. They're just diverting their purchases just on individual stores that attended anime cons, or worse, Amazon. Or they go to, or even better, they go to conventions that are willing to operate as normal, or hellbent as operating as normal, like Anime Matsuri and CrossCon in Ohio. I hope Gen Con returns to normal. I hope that the big companies come back. I hope that they eventually foster open and fun game experience for all attendees. Until then, I have plenty to keep me busy at home writing. I'm sorry, Blaine. Seriously, I'm very sorry. Blaine. hope it's not a strategy. A lot of these conventions will not be returning to normal in 2022, except for comic conventions in suburban and rural areas, and a few anime cons in Ohio and Texas. And the few anime conventions in Ohio and Texas are going to get a lot more attendees. They're going to get a lot more attendees than than Otaku, than Anime AX, because people are willing to pay for normalcy. And it's terrible that we are seeing a slow collapse of the fan convention scene. Most attendees don't know it. If the normal conventions are saying, screw this, we're returning to normal, we will not be having this situation. And as predicted, Gen Con will, unfortunately, is doubling down on health and safety after a successful return to an in-person convention. Successful, but a shell of itself. I mean, it's terrible. Conventions should be fun. They should not be focused on virtue signaling and health and safety. Nothing is stopping these conventions from operating as normal. Seriously, they should operate as normal, as close to normal as possible. You're not even allowed to even have a face covering as part of a cosplay or costume. You really have to wear a mask, even if you have a helmet on, or a fursuit. What's up with that? And the worst thing is that there's going to be definitely be hit pieces written about anyone that dares to decline to have their pronouns on their badge. While it's optional, anyone will attack people who don't want their pronouns in their bio or on their badge. It's terrible. Seriously. Gen Con has been the longest running tabletop gaming festival and convention. And it's lively. And it's really lively. I've never been to a Gen Con before. I would like to attend if it wasn't for the great lockdowns, which have been catastrophic to the fan convention scene and the convention industry by itself. It's really live. Even if I wasn't into tabletop gaming, I would have been documenting the convention. I would have been documenting the convention, the people playing it, the contest, the cosplay. And I heard there was a video game section there. But seriously, it's not even worth attending Gen Con or any anime convention in 2022 unless you really have to attend. Unless there's a specific event that you want to go to on a particular day, like on Saturday. It's not worth going. It's not worth going at all. Seriously, save your money, attend any convention that is willing to go back to normal, and spend all your money there. The only language these conventions will understand is financial pain. And maybe if they were in financial pain for 2 years, maybe they'll wake up and go back to normal. But the way it looks like it's not going to happen. They are intent on doubling down until they go out of business. This is JK from the Ministry of Otaku signing out. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please give a like and subscribe, leave a comment, share this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Try to take care of yourselves, will you?